Oh yeah? Where's my how many of the TF2 mercs have smashed video, huh?
A question that I honestly never thought about until my buddy Ray brought it up to me. Which mercenaries in Team Fortress 2 have canonically smashed? That's right, no speculation. This is only based on what Valve has told us about the status of each merc's celibacy and everyone's favorite free-to-play class-based shooter that's on life support maintenance mode and also has not gotten a major update in 4 years, so same rules with the smash videos. I'm not sure I should change the wording since it's not smash anymore, but whatever. I have organized the 9 mercenaries into 4 groups: smashed, can't smash, speculated smash, and no proof. Smashed are for mercs with undeniable proof. Valve has explicitly said that this character has smashed through the comics or other sources of lore, or they have children. Can't smash the same as smashed, but due to questionable canonicity of events, it's not rock solid as the previous category. Speculated smash is for characters that either have a partner or some other event that would suggest smashing. However, there's no explicit canon proof. And finally, we have no proof. This doesn't mean that your main's a virgin, it's just that Valve has not given us evidence to say otherwise. Even though we have known these mercs for about 14 years now, we actually don't know too much about their personal lives. Well, I mean, we do know quite a bit about their lives, but not in the way of the topic of this video. And this specific lack of knowledge is why everybody is in this section, bar maybe heavy. First off, we have the millionaire CEO of Frontier Engineering themselves, Pyro. Pyro is a complete enigma. We know next to nothing about them, and there's so many aspects about Pyro that it's a mystery. We have no idea why Pyro even is a merc, why they see the world in the way they do, what did they even do with their money, and what sex Pyro even is. However, it's way better off this way than actually having answers. However, what we do know about Pyro is that they either live with or are close friends with Engineer, since Pyro has a stalking over Engineer's fireplace and was staying over at his house to listen to A Christmas Story. But yeah, there's no proof Pyro has smashed. Speaking of Pyro's housemate, the Engineer, real name Del Conager, also has a pretty unknown personal life. I mean, we do know a bit about Conager's family, like how Radigan Conager prolonged the Gravel Wars with his 2 immortality machines. Also, is Fred a Conager? I won't deny Del's dad does look a lot like Fred, but then why was Fred never called to also work on Radigan's machine? I mean, he's also a merc on Plutarch's payroll. But back to the point, we don't know much about Engineer, and he didn't even get that much panel time in the comics to expand his character like everyone else. I mean, we know the Pyro thing from the Pyro section, and he also seems to be on a higher level of trust with his employers compared to all his peers. But when it comes to smashing, we have no clue if Del has done the deed. The Sniper, Mr. Mundy, or Mundy, is one of the only 3 New Zealanders that are still alive, one of the 2 New Zealanders that are still on Earth, and the only zombie New Zealander. We do know that in the world of Team Fortress, Sniper is conventionally attractive, or at least attractive to women that are disappointed to see Scout Soldier and Pyro. But considering the fact that Mundy is kind of a psychopath professional, and he makes no reference to having relationships with any woman, there's no evidence that he has smashed. I don't think I need to mention this, but this line,
"I will send my condolences to your kangaroo wife,"
it's just a joke. Mundy isn't actually married to a kangaroo, sorry. As crazy as Team Fortress lore is, it's just Soldier being Soldier and not some insane lore reveal. Second thing, voice actors aren't actually really involved in the story of the characters that they voice. Yes, I know that one time in MagFest 2013, John Patrick Lowry said that Sniper likes buying Smash from women in Bangkok, but it hasn't been backed by Valve yet. The Heavy, or Mikhail, long for Misha, is the son of a counter-revolutionist, and has allegedly burned down a North Siberian gulag and tortured the guards to death as a child. And might have a PhD in Russian literature if you count backstory given questionably canon games as canon. Has like no chance of smashing at all. We know that all the people that he cares about and loves lives in a tiny cabin somewhere in the Dukjur Mountains in Siberia. But the only people who live in the cabin are Heavy's 3 sisters, Branislava, Zhanna, and Yuna, and his mother. If there really was someone, then she would probably also be living in that cabin. And Heavy's not the kind of guy to talk much about his personal life, so we have no other leads, which means there's no proof of him smashing. The one-eyed drunk black Scottish Cyclops, the Demoman, or just Tavish Finnegan the Groot, comes from a long line of Highland demolition experts. I think we know more about Tavish's backstory than any of the other mercs, from how he lost his adopted parents at 6-year-old from a questionable plan to blow up the Loch Ness Monster, to only be adopted by his birth parents and then losing his eye while working for a wizard and getting tricked by a book. We even know how hard it was for the Groot family when Tavish was a child, albeit that Tavish's mom is definitely stretching the truth a lot. Even with all the knowledge we have of Demoman's past, we do not know if he's smashed or not. I mean, there is that one domination line that he has against Medic, but I wouldn't really call the insult part of a domination as a canon fact, unless we are to believe that Heavy really does have gravy for blood. There's only one character in speculated tier this time, and to be fair, I'm still iffy if he should be here or no proof based on the shakiness of the evidence. So the sole resident of speculated tier is the madman with 9 souls, the medic, or Mr. Ludwig. So why is the medic here? In all the animations and comics, we never learn about Ludwig's personal life. We get backstory on how he lost his medical license, but overall his character is more about progression, innovation, and the more strange side of Team Fortress. However, in game, there's just one line of dialogue that seems out of place that suggests that Ludwig does have a wife.
Dominated! And I've been shagging your wife! Haha!
This is kinda different from the soldier one, as Devilman is a slightly more credible character. Albeit that this is a domination line and they're meant to be jokey insults, but the insult wouldn't make sense if Ludwig didn't have a wife, and Devilman doesn't make any wife remarks to any other mercs. Honestly, it's just strange to me that this is one of the lines and feels really out of place. There's no evidence refuting the part that we actually care about, so for now, I'll just take the non-insult part of the domination line to heart and say yeah, Ludwig might have a wife, but that's all we know, so speculated here. And finally, the characters that Valve has said canonically has smashed. And for once, we have more examples of the writer saying, and they smashed, rather than relying on the fact that the character has children. First off is Scout, God's gift to Earth, or just Jeremy. Due to Jeremy's infatuation with Miss Pauling, romance has always been a large part of Scout's stories. However, this feeling seems to be completely one-sided, as Miss Pauling is always blowing off Jeremy's advances. However, in the expiration date official SFM animation, Jeremy did give an example of him smashing a girl, as Jeremy and the fried chicken girl both gave her consent and said yeah, let's smash.
Here lies Scout. He ran fast and died a virgin.
Also, I'm fairly sure calling somebody a virgin is a generic enough insult that we don't need to look at it and see if Spy's domination line holds any water. Soldier, real name Jane Doe, a really unfortunate name, is the most salient mark when it comes to backstory and demeanor, which is kinda explained by lead poisoning throughout the years. Jane also has Valve's explicit word that he has smashed. In the Team Fortress comic, he smashes Heavy's sister Zana, as he was the first non-blood related male she's ever seen in her life that wasn't Scout, and she really wanted to smash. Afterward, he does propose to her, and if the comics continued and the story of TF2 ends, and they don't die by the end of it, he will also start a family with her. And speaking of being fathers, we have the most infamous father in Team Fortress 2, the Spy, metaphorical lady killer and for real man killer. The Spy is our oldest example of a mercenary canonically smashing, as it was revealed in Meet the Spy that he did in fact smash Scout's mom. I'm not too sure how the identical teams work in canon, but for the most part I think the team colors actually don't matter too much.
Well, off to visit your mother.
Domination lines also further tease this. However, like I said before, we should take the insult part of the domination as a grain of salt. In the comics, we get full confirmation that Spy is actually Scout's dad. I mean that everybody's wrong and Scout's dad was actually Tom Jones the whole time. And that has been the mercenaries of Team Fortress 2. Out of the 10 of them, 3 have official statements from Valve saying they have smashed, 1 of them might have a wife, and the rest simply have no proof. Honestly, this has been a blast from the past. I've seriously not thought of Team Fortress since like 2016 after selling my soul to Pyro, so thanks to Forgotten King Raid for suggesting that I make this video and voicing himself. He makes great ideas for Team Fortress fan games that will never see the light of day because he chooses not to work on them, and some Team Fortress shitposts, so if those interest you, check him out.